Leadership, the action of leading a group of people or an organization. The definition is simple. However, the value of leadership goes beyond a simple explanation. You're checking out The Healthy Leader, discussing the different styles and the importance of great leadership. Now here's your host, Michelle Franklin.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is Michelle coming on this early in the morning to talk to you guys about being committed after the storm. I know it's a little early. Of course, I always come on here and explain to you guys why I have not been coming on in the evening, because my shows are usually done in the evening, but there's a lot that happens in the evening that sometimes gets in the way of me doing it in the evening. But nevertheless, I want to make sure that I come on and do as many podcasts as I can do. And so just to encourage you guys out there concerning leadership, and I was just laying here on this morning thinking about leadership and how today being Sunday, most people are getting up, getting ready to either go to the house of the Lord or getting prepared to do their live videos, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on Zoom, or go to meeting, or just any other media platform that a lot of leaders are choosing to utilize during this time, during this pandemic, to actually get the word out. And I was just sitting here thinking about commitment and how so many leaders have been struggling because it takes commitment to the assignment to be a pastor. And because of the pandemic, we cannot meet in person in some areas. Those that can meet in person have to have smaller services, and I'm here in Illinois, so we are able to meet in person, thank God. However, we still have to be careful what we do, who we connect with, whether we're in people's face, wear our masks, we have to follow the rules of the CDC. And so I was just thinking about the commitment, the challenges as it relates to commitment during this time, in the midst of this storm, the challenges that a lot of leaders are facing to remain committed to the thing in which God has called them to remain committed to. And I was actually thinking about The Perfect Storm. For those of you guys out there that don't know, there's a movie called The Perfect Storm. And during that movie, if I want you guys to actually go watch that movie. It's a great movie talking about leadership, and it shows you the pros and cons of leadership and a great leader. One thing that I do is I love to watch different movies and pull out different revelation pertaining to that movie. I don't think that movies or even TV sitcoms were made just for entertainment. I think that they were made to kind of tell a story, to kind of get us to mold or shape ourselves after what we've seen. That's one of the reasons why we have to be careful what we watch, because sometimes what we watch can have us trying to mold ourselves into an image that we were not destined to actually walk in, look like, be like, or any of that stuff like that. And so The Perfect Storm is a great movie where you can just have a pen and a piece of paper handy and pull out all of the leadership nuggets. As a matter of fact, I would suggest you have your team watch The Perfect Storm. It is the one of the absolute best movies that I've ever seen because, again, it shows you the pros and cons of a great leader. During this particular movie, there were a group of men who were going fishing, and the leader of the group actually decided to proceed ahead, although he had got word that there was a storm coming. Kind of like remind you of the movie Titanic, when they tried to turn over that big ice, when they were informed about it, they should have just turned around, but they didn't. They kept going, and it cost a lot of people their lives. And it's the same scenario with this movie. This movie is actually a true story of fishermen who actually went out to catch fish, and they never returned home. They did not return home because of the leader. They had a bad leader. And so there were pros and cons to his leadership, because when it comes to his style of leadership, there were two different things I pulled out, and there was a perfectionist as well as a committed leader. You can be a perfectionist, and a perfectionist is a negative trait, but it's also a positive trait. Being a perfectionist have some good qualities to it. As an individual that just want to make sure that they're excellent in everything that they do, but then it's also a flaw. It's a flaw because being a perfectionist could sometimes means that you're never satisfied with the work that you see before you. And so there was a time where I had made these little flower pot things, and I made them out of paper, and I was using them to hang in the church. And when they hung them up, because they were really high up, so someone else had to hang them up. When they hung them up, to me, one of them looked crooked. And so no one noticed it but me. But every time I would come into the sanctuary, I could not listen to discernment, because that flower pot that I had created, to me, looked at crooked. And so that was a bit of a perfectionist that was within me. And so I had to recognize that I do deal with perfection, and I was a bit of a perfectionist. And so being a perfectionist is just simply finding the balance. I actually talk about a perfectionist in my book, where I talk about how sometimes being a perfectionist will lead you down a pathway of doing something you don't want to do, because a perfectionist is an individual who want to win at every cost. And so they do not like to lose. And so sometimes losing is a part of life. And so in this movie, The Perfect Storm, I kind of picked up on him being a perfectionist, thinking he can outbeat the storm, thinking that they wouldn't be affected by it, thinking that they can ride it out and that they will be okay, thinking that he did not want to go home a failure, but that he wanted to be the one to go home and say, not only did we catch what we set out to catch, but there was a storm and we made it through the storm. Sometimes that is our mentality. We want to be able to tell people our story and how we made it through the storm, but there are some storms that are avoidable. If you can avoid going through certain storms, I say don't go through those storms, because sometimes you don't have the stamina, you don't have the momentum, you don't have the strength, you haven't allowed God to build you up to where as though you are able to withstand the storm when it comes. And so there are some storms that are avoidable, but we have some leaders that are not only perfectionists, but they are committed to the cause. They're committed to their vision. They're committed to what they set out to do. And because they are committed to what they set out to do, they will not give up on what they're doing, even when there is a storm, even when that storm will cost their team their lives. And so I wanted to come on here today to encourage those leaders out there today to operate in commitment, but make sure that your commitment is healthy. Okay, make sure your commitment is healthy. There is unhealthy commitment. You don't want to be so committed to the assignment that you allow your commitment to the assignment to cost you the lives of your teammates, because you want to be committed in a storm that you do not have to be committed to. There are some seasons and some storms, again, that are avoidable. And if you don't have to do what you're trying to to do, don't do it, especially if it's going to cost people their lives. Weigh it out, examine it. Sometimes leaders don't want to step back and examine everything that's on the table. But I say sit back, weigh it out, examine it, evaluate it. See if this is something that you are able to take. See if this is a burden that you are able to carry. There are some leaders that will say, hey, listen, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this anyway, and either you're with me or you're not with me. And those that are with them end up getting hurt in the process, and then that leader isn't strong enough to carry the burden of what it costs. And so what I simply want to do on this morning is to encourage you all to get up and reevaluate the things that you are committed to. Reevaluate the relationships that you have been committed to. Reevaluate the systems, the organization, the jobs, the careers. Some of us are stuck in careers, and we've been committed to some careers that, listen, has been costing us. Some of the careers that you have been committed to have been costing you the bigger vision, have been costing you your purpose, have been costing you your destiny, have been costing you in this season and stopping you from accomplishing all you want to accomplish. When you set out to say, listen, if I'm going to be committed, I'm going to be committed to the right thing. I'm going to be committed to the thing that's going to produce a harvest, the right kind of harvest, not just any harvest, but the right kind of harvest. And so go and watch that movie, guys. I want to challenge you guys to go and watch that movie. Listen, I want you guys to be praying for me. I want my microphone. I have my microphone, and unfortunately, I really do not know how to set it up and use it for the podcast, but I'm learning. I'm still excited that I've been faithfully doing the podcast. I may not have been doing it at during the times that I normally do it, but I'm so grateful that God has given me the strength to persevere and continue to do it, although I don't have all of the equipment that I need. And so I have this microphone. It said the microphone was for podcasting. And so, I'm trying to see how to go about utilizing it so that my voice can be a little bit louder. Just you guys out there, you guys, listen to podcasts all the time. Y'all hear the difference in individuals that use the mic and individuals that don't. So, but nevertheless, one thing that you guys cannot say is that I have not been faithful. I have been committed to coming on and doing this podcast at any cost, and I have still yet been excited about it. So, again, if you do not have the movie The Perfect Storm, go watch it. Type it in and see if it's on Netflix. If it's on Netflix, watch it. If you have to pay to watch it, watch it. Again, take a pen and a piece of paper and kind of write out the nuggets, pour out the nuggets of leadership. That was a great, great movie. And the leader, the captain of the ship, he did not utilize his leadership qualities, and he lost his whole team. He lost his whole team in a storm. And you don't want to lose your people in a storm. We are in the midst of a storm, guys. We have the election coming up, which we've had a lot of civil unrest, and they have been saying that it doesn't matter who win the election, there's still going to be civil unrest, there's still going to be looting, there's still going to be killings and all of that different stuff. And so we have the election that's coming up. What else we have? We are still dealing with the pandemic and have entered into the second wave. And so we also have the flu season. We're in the flu season. This is November. And so in many places, this is the flu season. And so, there's a lot that we have on the table. But one of the things that I want you guys to think about is this. What are you committed to? What are you committed to doing? Is there another way you can go? Leaders are, let me tell you something about leaders. Leaders are navigators. They are navigators, okay? They know how to navigate the ship. They know how to navigate that if they go in one direction and something is in the way of them getting past that point, they are able to navigate us into a different direction and take us on a safer route. Find a safer route to go. Do not put your people at risk trying to be committed to an assignment in a storm that's avoidable, that you can avoid, that you're being told to avoid, that you're being told to wait it out. Some storms you have to wait it out. Can you just think about a tornado? Okay, I'm gonna talk about this and then I'm gonna end. Think about a tornado. Now, if a tornado is coming, people are running and they're hiding in some type of shed. Okay? But just think about a tornado that comes and it's moving and it's moving very slowly, but it has reached the destination in terms of where you are, but it's still there. Sometimes you have to sit in the shed and you have to wait it out. You cannot come out in the storm saying, I got this. I can do this. Let me take my team out in this storm. We can handle it. Now go watch Twister. I'm telling y'all, I am a movie buff. Go watch Twister, the movie Twister. There was a team who thought that they could chase this tornado, and there was a few teams out there, but this particular team, him and his teammate end up losing their lives. They end up losing their lives. There are some storms you have to avoid. You have to know when to navigate and move in another direction. You have to know when to wait things out. We are in a season where leaders have to be the leaders that are committed to preserving what is going to remain and try to sustain it for our future. That is what we are. And so many leaders are trying to hold on to what was when we are trying to be launched into what could be. And so in the process of us waiting for what could be, one of the things that we have to do is remain committed to the safety of the people. And so that's a choice. Do we remain committed to the assignment while there is an avoidable storm? Remember, I said avoidable storm, meaning it's not a storm that you have to go through. It's a storm that you can wait out. And sometimes as a leader, it's hard to sit back and just ride it out, wait it out. Sometimes a leader is so eager to just get back in his role or get back in her role that they're willing to go through storms they don't have to go through and take the team with them, and they end up losing their team. And so I want to encourage the leaders on this morning. Listen, guys, let's be committed. Let's be committed to the things that are important. Let's be committed to the things that, will help the people that are on our team and help to preserve our future. You guys be blessed. This is Michelle. Pray for me that I get my microphone going. When I get my microphone, let me tell y'all something. Okay, let me just say this. When I get my microphone going, man, it's going to be on and popping. I'm going to be unstoppable on these podcasts. I'm going to always be doing these podcasts. But this is your host, Michelle Franklin. If you don't have my book, The Healthy Leader, I need you guys to go pick the book up. It's at Amazon. It will be available on my website pretty soon. I need you guys to go pick that book up. I have more books on leadership coming that are available. I have a book that's called Leader Shift. I have a book that's called Bottom Feeders. And then this book is called The Healthy Leader. And so I have another book that will be available before the new year that's on leadership as well. I love to write, especially when it's a topic on leadership. And so if you guys do not have those books, go look them up on Amazon under Michelle Franklin name and listen. The books will be available through my website. pretty soon, probably before the month of November is over, within the next week or so, they will be available on my website, which is www.theclsacademy.com. Check me out. Go on that page. There is a lot of stuff that I do. It's actually a school that I've established to raise up life coaches, biblical Christian counselors, grief counselors. I'm also a licensed notary and loan signing agent for the state of Illinois. That's something that I got into on last year. I set out to do on last year, and I never really operated in it. And so now, I'm operating in it now. And so go check my website out. There's a lot of information on there that you guys can learn about me. I am a speaker. I am a coach. Listen, I'm not going to say motivational speaker, okay? But I'm a speaker. I'm a coach that will motivate you and encourage you and empower you to fulfill your role as a leader in society. You are needed as a leader in society. It's almost 7 o'clock here. We know that time has went back, so it's almost 7 o'clock here in Illinois. I want to challenge you guys to get up and be committed to something today. You guys have an awesome and blessed Sunday, and I will talk to you guys on tomorrow. Okay, bye.